1, 2, 3, 4. Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore tree. Dream a little dream of me. Say nighty night and kiss me. Just hold me and tell me you miss me while I'm alone and blue as can be. Dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear. Still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear. Just saying this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave your worries behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Surf Guitar Lessons. Today we are once again breaking out our ukuleles. I'm going to be showing you a beautiful jazz standard in Dream a Little Dream. We're going to be doing it in the style of the Mamas and the Papas. Let's get started. Okay, we have a close look at the ukulele and also my right hand. We are in standard tuning. Now there's a lot of easy chords in this, but there are quite a few changes. So getting started with our verse, we're going to break it up into 4 different sections. Section number 1 starts with C major, in order, then goes to B dominant 7, A flat major, and then G7. That part would sound like this.
Stars shining bright above you.
So our C major chord, 3rd finger is here on the 3rd fret of the A string, strumming all the strings. Then we're going to bar the 2nd fret. Our middle finger is going to go to the 3rd fret of the C string for the B7. Then we have an A flat. You might recognize it as being the same shape as G major, but up 1 fret. Then we're going to a G major or a G7. I prefer the G7. My middle finger on the 2nd fret of the C string, my 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and my 1st finger on the 1st fret of the E string. Kind of a backwards G chord. Okay, so that's part number 1 of the verse. C, B7, A flat, and then G7. Okay, part number 2 is very similar. We're starting off with the same 2 chords, C major, B dominant 7, and then we're going to go to A major instead, followed by A7. So that A major chord, my middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the G string, while my 1st finger is on the 1st fret of the C string, strumming all the strings. Then we're simply just going to take our middle finger off. Okay, so far we have part number 1, C, B7, A flat, G or G7, C, B7, A, A7. Okay, very interesting changes. Next, we have part number 3. Sounds like this. So that was just an F major chord. My middle finger here on the 2nd fret of the G. My 1st finger is here on the 1st fret of the E string.
Birds singing in the sycamore trees.
Okay, and then we're going to the F minor chord. My 1st finger on the 1st fret of the G string, and my middle finger on the 1st fret of the E, as my pinky takes the 3rd fret of the A string. So far we have
Stars shining bright above
G7,
you.
back to C,
Night
B7,
breezes seem to
A major,
whisper I love you.
A7, F major,
Birds singing in
the, and then the F minor, sycamore tree. And we followed up with the last section of verse number 1. C major, dream a little dream, A flat, and then G7 of me. Okay, so just recycling some of the chords that we've already learned. Part number 4, C, A flat, and G7. Okay, so let's play through that first verse together. Remember, everything has 2 beats to it, except for when we get to the F and the F minor chord, which have 4 beats. So getting on our C major chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, C, B7, A flat, G7, C, B7, A, A7, F, 1, 2, 3, 4, F minor, C, A flat, G7. Alright, now with the lyrics, here we go. Stars shining bright above you, night breezes seem to whisper I love you, birds singing in the sycamore tree, dream a little dream of me. Alright, so notice that G7 at the end does carry 4 beats to it. We're just going to hold it out as it gets us back into the second verse, which is going to be almost the same thing, but again, there'll be just a little bit of a different tag at the end of the verse. So, verse number 2, we have C major, say nighty night over B7, and then A flat, and kiss me to a G7. C, just hold me to a B7, and tell me, A major, you'll miss me, A7. F major chord, while I'm alone, F minor, and blue as can be, C major, dream a little, A flat, dream of G7, and then resolve this time around. So that's the difference between the first verse and the second verse. It resolves back to C like this. Dream a little dream of me. Alright, this takes us to the B section of the tune. The A major chord, 1, 2, and then this really great little shape, A6. I'm barring the 2nd fret, and then my 3rd finger is on the 4th fret of the C string. The pinky is on the 4th fret of the A string. Probably the toughest little chord in the song. But you don't have to have such a tight grip on that bar. Just enough to get the G string and the E string. Okay, so we have the A major chord, stars fading, right on fade in the A6, but I linger on dear, 4 beats on E7. This is a new one as well. So my first finger is on the 1st fret of the G, my middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the C, and my ring finger is on the 2nd fret of the A for an E dominant 7, one of my favorite chords on the ukulele. Alright, so we have the A major, the A6, the E dominant 7, 2, 3, it repeats. One more time. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear. Then finally this great, very, very dissonant climactic part, A major, just saying like this. Our A flat jumps back in on this and then cliffhangs us right on G7. We know we got to get back to C, right? So last verse comes in, same exact thing we had before, C to B7, A flat to G7 to C to B flat, and then A major, A7. It's all identical. 4 beats on F to the F minors as well. C major, dream a little dream of me. Okay, so there at the end, we're just finishing up the same way that we finished our second verse. C major, dream a little dream of me. Alright everyone, thanks so much for checking out this lesson on Dream a Little Dream. I hope you enjoyed it. I got plenty more lessons on ukulele and guitar coming up, so keep checking back. Please subscribe. I'm Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia, saying happy picking.